fresh off of covering last night's Lakers and Thunder game downtown at the Downtown Hoops Dojo, is none other than the NBA reporter from ESPN, Dave McMenamin. Good to see you, sir.
Great to see you, too. It
Okay.
was a very entertaining game, by the way.
You know what? The Lakers are an entertaining team.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say that because we're talking about the home team as well. They're fascinating. They're fascinating with LeBron, obviously, and then with him being out, just to see who can step up and maybe take the Lakers off the max contract free agent hook coming up next summer.
Right, where it wouldn't feel so dire if they strike out on the biggest names because we have homegrown talent that's stepping up.
Right.
The tough part, like in the vacuum last night, you have Kyle Kuzma going out with the back strain, and he has really been the most talented offensive player of that young group.
And last year, too.
Right.
I mean, so it's now 2 years running. He's the guy.
Yeah, but then you see plays like Lonzo early on in the game, 2 straight drives right into the paint, and eyes in the back of his head find guys for dunks who are trailing. Like that's elite level stuff. But then he goes and can't make a free throw.
He's shooting 48% from the line. It's
and
insanity.
he's only getting 1 free throw attempt per game, which that means all that penetration is going for naught because he's not either finishing at the rim or trying to get contact. Perhaps he doesn't want to go to the line, so he's passing on purpose because he doesn't want to go to the line and miss. And then you have Ingram, who goes in and out of things, and it's a 5-point game in the fourth quarter. He's kind of playing that point forward role, and he's stripped at the top of the key, like Cardinal sin, and they get a breakaway bucket on the other end.
Right.
You can't do that. You got to be able to check the ball if you're going to be the point forward on your team.
And the Laker fans taunting
we don't
Paul
need
George, we don't need you. Well, excuse me. I mean, Are you kidding me? We don't need you.
And while that's happening, you have this scene playing out in the tunnel with Magic, Rob Pelinka, and LeBron all looking like they just saw a family member get shot based on what's going on.
Well,
on the
I
court.
just found that fascinating. That shot that you're referring to, and we're showing it on the television feed right now, radio audience. It's Rob Pelinka on the left, Magic Johnson on the right, and LeBron, who had been sitting on the bench as an injured player dressed in civilian clothes would do, is standing in between them. And I'm wondering this, and I'm asking the gentleman to whom LeBron said his thoughts, unsolicitedly, I imagine, but I'll ask that in a second, about Anthony Davis, how amazing it would be to play. And that created a whole set to in the NBA about whether that's technically tampering or not, even though he's not in the front office. Isn't that Exhibit A, him standing in between the two decision makers for the Lakers as he was doing, and that he is in fact part of the decision making process there in Los Angeles?
Yeah, but it's a lot different though being part of the decision making process, and then being the only way it could be considered tampering is if they gave him a set of instructions basically, and he was carrying out their will by talking about a player purposely to the press. LeBron operates under his own free will, and he doesn't need Magic or Rob to tell him these things to carry them out. So, ergo, it's not tampering.
Okay, so that said, the visual, as you pointed out before I even had it in the shoot to bring up, because I wanted to have it in the shoot to bring up with you sitting here. Walk me through when LeBron came to you and gave you that. Did he come to you? I mean, what was the spatial, actual...
We were in Brooklyn.
Nuts and bolts here.
We were in Brooklyn. I had just gone on SportsCenter to talk about a podcast appearance or television appearance, by Adrian Wojnarowski, where he talked about the Lakers' plans in terms of, they had already struck out on Trevor Ariza, and he's saying they're not going to pursue smaller type deals in order to get incrementally better. They're going to hold on to all their young assets in order to pursue Anthony Davis in a trade. And so SportsCenter was playing in the visitors' locker room at Barclays Center. LeBron's getting stretched out, watching the TV on mute, sees me there, sees the B-roll of Anthony Davis. I come into the locker room, and he says something along the lines of, "Do you know something I don't know?" Which prompted our conversation about Anthony Davis. We go back and forth, and then, I asked him, so, what do you think about them trading for him? And he gave me that quote. And of course you have to have an exchange after that. We've all kind of had these type of conversations before being a reporter. Is it on the record? Is it off the record? Now, he said it was on the record. So of course there's where he's giving the tacit agreement where he knows what he's doing. He knows that there'll be a ripple effect when he says it on the record.
So, okay, he did not specifically seek you out of the blue. It was something where you strolled in and he just saw something,
right?
Said that.
The timing of it, like had I not come into the locker room after I did TV, maybe that doesn't happen.
So, and you being the professional, lead pipe wielding professional that you are, Dave McMenamin of ESPN, you went to him and say, hey, I want to make sure that what you just told me was on the record. And he said, yeah, it is.
Correct.
And that's when he knows, as the
knows
host of
what's
the
gonna
shop and a guy who's every social media movement has been calculated in a way, gave that remark. Okay, so what do you think the possibility is as we're currently sitting here on the first Thursday of January? How many days are we removed
I think
from
36 days away from the
trade
NBA
deadline.
trade deadline.
Okay, what do you think?
So the Lakers have this young core of assets. We know that, right? There's other teams that have great things they could offer as well, specifically the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics cannot make an offer for an Anthony Davis until the offseason unless they include Kyrie Irving in that offer.
Which is not happening.
Right. Of course not. That's your championship point guard that you
So this
have.
is the moment where the Lakers can strike without Danny Ainge having a single syllable of say into what could be done with Anthony Davis instead of sending him to the Lakers.
The window is open right now. And you could say he's under contract. Right. But guess what? Jimmy Butler was under contract. Kyrie Irving was under contract. Kawhi Leonard was under contract. The NBA, in this current landscape, if the superstar puts it out there that he wants to be out, the team is handcuffed. They have to do it. And it becomes a diminishing asset the longer you wait. And the Lakers, if Anthony Davis makes it clear he wants to be traded to the Lakers, there could be a bold team out there that says, you know what, we'll trade for him anyway, and we'll convince him with our culture, like Paul George.
Exactly, how it worked out for him.
OKC.
The Thunder.
But that's a risk, and Sam Presti has the type of clout in OKC to pull a move like that. But not every GM does, and it could be a manifest destiny. If Anthony Davis now he has to take the leap as a 25-year-old who's lived in relative obscurity in the NBA, even though he has all these accolades, he doesn't really get flack because there's not a ton of media attention down in New Orleans. He will change his public perception dramatically if he was to go out and publicly request a trade. And you got to live with that fallout.
Well, you can't do it. Collective bargain agreement says you can't come out and literally say, I want to trade. Correct?
You can.
Which is why, the whole Jimmy Butler situation kind of skated on the thin ice of whether he had broken the collective bargaining agreement of coming out and saying it. Although calling Rachel Nichols up and say, why don't you fly out to Minnesota and I'll have an outburst while you're in flight that I know is going to create such a major problem that we'll chat on the jump,
I don't know how the sausage was made. I know that Rachel had an excellent interview with them.
I know that. Yeah. But as you pointed out as well, I mean, the NBA is filled with savvy stars who know when they say something what it means to say it and how they can put it out there has a lot to say with whether they can be called on the carpet for it. Dave McMenamin here on the Rich Eisen Show. So Anthony Davis, the only reason why we're making these connection is because of Clutch Sports representing both of these superstar athletes in LeBron and Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis has yet to form a super team by going somewhere. No. Okay, so he hasn't done that yet. And if it's something he does want to do, and he's 25, and by age 30, LeBron may have moved on after having played with his son here in Los Angeles, then he's got his entire 30s to be a Lakers superstar of his own right. I
mean, he does, but at the same time, I mean, his entire NBA career has been a disappointment in terms of winning. I mean, he's been an undisputed top 7 or 8 player in the league for the last 4 or 5 years, and what does he have to show for it? A couple of first-round exits. And so you have guys like Kevin Garnett, legends of the game, saying, you should do what I did. I stayed too long in Minnesota. I should have made the Boston move way earlier in my career. Mm-hmm. Telling him these type of things too, because you only get one go round in this league, and if he's going to waste the start of his prime losing and losing and losing, and that's what they're doing again this year. I mean, hyper competitive Western Conference, and they are under 500, and it doesn't seem to be a path for them to get over 500. So is he going to miss the playoffs this year? And do it out of well, this is what's right for the organization, and just bide my time, and then I'll go to LA at some point and hope things get better in New Orleans. That doesn't seem reasonable compared to the rest of his superstar peers.
Well, now you're being Dave McMenamin, ESPN. Now you're being factually astute, which doesn't really help the purposes of this sort of fantasy basketball trade conversation.
Sure.
So while we're in the world of actual facts, who would the Lakers be able to cough up that Dell Demps in New Orleans would go, okay, I'll be totally roasted by sending Anthony Davis within conference to LeBron James and create a super team for a team that desperately needs that sort of bailout, if you will.
Sure.
So who could that possibly
be? It would have to be Ingram, Lonzo Kuzma, if not Ingram, Lonzo Kuzma, and Josh Hart. They would have to empty the cupboards to get him. And then that creates a new problem for the Lakers, because then basically you're stuck in the situation that Miami was in, that the Cleveland Cavaliers was in, then you're filling out the rest of the roster with a bunch of one-year veteran minimum contracts, and that can be problematic. But I think that'd be a good problem for the Lakers to have.
Wouldn't the Lakers do that in a heartbeat?
Yeah, I think they would. Yeah,
because we saw what those four guys can do together last year, and I know we're kind of seeing what they're doing together right now.
Right.
But that's not. With all due respect, can they gel together and beat the Warriors? Can they gel together, beat the Rockets? Can they gel together and and even beat the New Orleans Pelicans?
Right. They did with LeBron. They beat the Pelicans earlier this year. It was a close game, but yes.
I'm talking about without LeBron. That's what I'm saying is that they're waiting for one of these guys to turn into. I don't know. I keep using this Brockman. I keep using this analogy. Oladipo. They need their coming out of nowhere lightning strike. This is the new star of the NBA who was toiling away in youthful, anonymity in a way.
So the biggest question, I think Ingram is the guy that people still believe could do that, because he's so young and his body hasn't filled out hardly at all yet.
Right.
And he has the length and the court vision and the athleticism where you're like, he could put it together and make that next leap. But you would have to get a team to buy into that to make a trade like this. Now, it's not an easy proposition, but we don't know what's in the heart and mind of Dell Demps. Now, okay, yes, I want to hold on to Anthony Davis. That's a smart move, right?
Of course, yeah.
But if you have to move him, then it's like, okay, is this a good package? Or is there some type of deal that's out there? Because no one really knew about the Toronto deal when you talked about Kawhi. No one assumed that was coming.
Right.
And then all of a sudden a team offers a multi-time all-star in his prime to get him. Is there a similar deal that's out there somewhere that we're not thinking about, that even though Boston can't be a part of this trade process right now, that this other team can come out of nowhere and blow the Lakers offer out of the water?
Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that that the Lakers call up Dell Demps and say, Ingram, Kuzma, Hart, Ball for Anthony Davis. Just name somebody else, whoever it is.
Alfred Payton.
Okay, very good. And,
no idea who that is.
Oh, he's got a great head of hair.
Oh, he got rid of it.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. And then Adam Silver says that trade's not happening.
Lakers would love
Blocks
that.
the trade.
Another New Orleans
Blocks the
trade
trade.
blocked by the commissioner.
And then he just trashes Dell Demps 10 years later in the Athletic. Are we missing anything? What else is going on?
What's the best team in the East? Is it the Celtics out there, Brockman?
I don't know, man. Great performance out of Gordon Hayward last night after putting up a zero the game before, but we just can't figure out a consistent lineup.
Who's we?
Boss,
are you suiting up? Because I watched them the other night with Coop.
I can stand in the corner and make wide open threes, something this Boston team cannot do.
Oh, my God.
He's going to wear a Celtics hat to the next Super Bowl when he's with the Cadets.
I know. Yeah, come this year.
Done.
Come down this year in Atlanta and wear a Celtics hat.
I just think the way Giannis is playing right now and Kawhi Leonard, the Bucks and the Raptors are the two best teams in the East.
Yeah, Kawhi's coming back tonight. He's not saying anything, huh? So what the hell happened? What happened? What happened? Come on, everyone. There's got to be some chatter here, Dave.
The chatter is that his kind of consulting family members, etc., they didn't believe that he could live as, I guess, superstar of a life in San Antonio, based on the way the organization treated him, based on the way he got deals off the court, and they wanted, there was reports about how he goes to All-Star and felt like he wasn't getting the same type of like car service that other superstars were getting.
What?
Yes.
Come on now.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like,
I mean, literally, like, like he saw how other superstars, the organization treated them in terms of taking care of everything soup to nuts when they're at All-Star Weekend. And he was like, well, why am I not getting treated like that? San Antonio has a clear culture where it's check your ego at the door. Greg Popovich always says that. Nobody's bigger than the team. Well, maybe he wanted to be bigger than the team.
So if he and his family got more souped up car service, he'd still be a San Antonio
that was just
Spur?
it's small anecdote.
No, I know, but those things add up. I understand.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he went to a place that has been lusting for a star ever since Vince Carter spurned them. And as great as Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan were as a tandem, and they were great, they won the East several times, they didn't have that next level stardom. And Toronto's rolling out the red carpet, and beyond that, like doing the guy, Kawhi Leonard's in the prime of his career and sitting out back-to-backs. And no one's giving him pressure to play in them.
Nobody's saying it, I know.
Right.
He didn't play here in Los Angeles.
Yes.
He sat out both Lakers and Clippers games. By the way, and they whipped them both, too, didn't they?
I mean, Pascal Siakam is a problem.
He sat out Golden State. He sat out in Golden State, and they whipped him there, too.
Right. But where's the fallout for that? Like he's just operating in a nice little bubble up there, and they're winning a lot of games. And
how's the cars? How are the car service? Do we know if it's any better up there in Toronto?
I need to know.
Doesn't matter. He's going to be on the Clippers with Durant next year.
You think?
I think the Clippers would love for that to happen. I don't know. Toronto's probably going to go to the finals. And so not that he stepped away from a team that won a championship and he won the final MVP, so he's already done that. So maybe he could leave a team that made the finals, but
All-Star games in Charlotte this year, right?
Yeah.
Can you rent a Maybach there for a family?
I think Michael Jordan knows a few people.
Well, I mean,
I'm going to
roll out the carpet there for that, and then Toronto, maybe they feel like they're the Oklahoma City.
Tweet the show later, whoever wrote that. I think it might have been Ramona Shelburne and Michael Wright who had that that nugget, but yeah.
And who are we overlooking more, the Bucks or the Nuggets?
Probably the Nuggets, but we've seen this before. George Karl was coach of the year his last year in Denver.
Then he got fired.
But they put together a ton of wins.
Yeah.
They get that altitude. It's a real thing. It's a real home court advantage they have during the regular season. Do they have top-level talent to beat other top-level talent in a playoff series?
Maybe they do.
I mean, Jokic is awesome, but I feel like you could allow him to have everything run through him and shut off the rest of the guys, and you're probably going to win the game. And then, their best wing player, I like him a lot, Jamal Murray, but you can pick Jamal Murray over Russell Westbrook or Jamal over Steph Curry or LeBron James if they meet one of those teams in the playoffs. Like right now, Denver's the 1 seed, Lakers are the 8 seed. You're going to pick the Denver Nuggets to beat the Lakers if LeBron's healthy?
No chance.
Like, come on.
Yeah, and the Lakers are about to be, they're 4 over. They're about to be 5 over because the Knicks, who are doing a great job of tanking, are coming in on Friday night. Can't wait. Should I call up Suze? Like, hey,
you should go to the game on Friday.
Suze, she's got the official Lakers podcast.
Yes.
Have you appeared on that yet?
I haven't, but we've talked about having me appear.
Come on, Dave.
Yeah, I'll get on.
I'm booking a show for Suze right now. She's doing the official Lakers podcast.
Yes.
Do we just get to sit her and go out there and watch the Knicks tank for
I think so.
against the LeBronless Lakers? Come on, let's do it.
That's a good Friday
Right.
night.
You could have a
That's
sign.
a date night. Is that date night? Is that a great date night?
You could have a Zion sign.
Oh, tank for Zion.
Yeah, that'd be impressive.
Oh, man.
I mean, you'll get on SportsCenter.
Last one for you, Dave McMenamin.
Yes.
How long do you know Brockman?
I've known him since my freshman year of college.
Oh, my God.
2001. But then, so he was my boss. I did intramural refereeing. He was in charge of the referee.
Hold on a minute. Wait. What's more frightening, Del Tufo being a cop or that guy being a ref?
Exactly.
Or an official in charge of officials? What?
That's bad.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
What was he like?
Work
He
study
was great.
program.
And then we used to play.
Wait, so you work study? You got
Yeah,
credit?
work study. Exactly. That's what it
yeah.
was. No, you got
Well,
like
you
a
got paid.
stipend. You got a stipend.
Yeah, you got paid.
And an hourly rate. But so we used to play a ton of pickup. And then, life takes you different directions. I was aware of Chris Brockman at NFL, but I didn't realize it was my intramural ref. So fast forward to 2014, summer, we're at a party in Santa Monica. Like, oh wow, we know each other, and so we reconnected.
So you were was he like the Dick Bavetta of it? I mean, like, what was he? Were you like
he had a little more of an edge than
you were more
Bavetta.
Crawford. You were more Joey
Crawford.
Crawford.
More Joey Crawford.
People showed up to intramural games to watch you ref,
He had an
right?
intimidating goatee back in the day.
I was more Tim Donaghy.
Were you tanking?
No.
Oh my gosh. You were gambling away your
I was gambling my stipend on,
That's right.
on co-rec basketball.
Yeah, you ref those frat games, right? You know, there's money to
That's
throw
right.
around. And
By the way, they had.
By the way, in case you're wondering, this has all been on the record, Dave.
Okay, good.
At McTen, MCTEN on Twitter. Has LeBron followed you again? Are you back in?
No.
You're out?
Still
you never went
out.
back in when he defollowed you and the rest of the Cavs
I know, right?
contingent of the media years ago?
It's still a sore spot. You always poke at it when I come on with you.
I guess you're not going to be on the shop. Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay, maybe
Not
one
yet.
day.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Dave.
All right, good to see you, Rich.
Dave McMenamin, go and follow him on Twitter and check out everything that he writes and talks about on the Worldwide Leader in Sports.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.